The following announcement has been paid for by the Trinitarians working for Christ.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. How you doing today? We are reading from Luke chapter 22. Now the feast of unleavened bread, which is called Passover, was approaching. The chief priests and the scribes were seeking how they might be able to put him to death, him being Christ. For they were afraid of the people. And Satan entered into Judas, who was called Iscariot, belonging to the number of the 12. And he was away and discussed with the chief priest and the officers how he might betray him to them. They were glad, and they agreed and gave him money. So he consented and began to seek a good opportunity to betray him to them, apart from the crowd. Then when the first day of unleavened bread, on which Passover lamb had to be sacrificed, and Jesus sent Peter and John, saying, "Go and prepare the Passover for us so that we may eat." They said to him, "Where do you want us to prepare it?" And he said unto them, "When you enter into the city, a man will be carrying, a man will be carrying a pitcher of water. Follow him to the house that he enters, and you shall say to the owner of the house, the teacher says to you, where is the guest room in which we may eat Passover with my disciples?" And he will show you a large furnished upper room. Prepare it there. And they left and found everything just as he told them. And they prepared Passover. Verse 14. When the hour came, he reclined at the table, and the apostles with him. And he said unto them, I have earnestly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. And I say to you, I shall never again eat it until it is fulfilled in the kingdom of God. And when he had taken the cup and given thanks, he said, Take this, share it among yourselves, for I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine from now until the kingdom of God has came. And when he had taken the bread and given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, This is my body, which I give to you. Do this in the remembrance of me. And in the same way he took the cup after they had eaten, saying, This cup which I poureth out for you is the new covenant of my blood. Side note, that's Jeremiah 31 through 34. Verse 21. But behold, the hand of the one betraying me is with mine on the table. For indeed the Son of Man is going as it has been determined. But woe to that man by whom he is betrayed. And they began discussing among themselves which one of them might be the one who is going to do this. And there arose another dispute among them, as which one of them was regarded to be the greatest. And he said to them, the kings of the Gentile lords, it's over them. And those who have the authority over them are called benefactors. But it is not that way with you. But the ones who is the greatest among you must become like the youngest, and the leaders like the servants. For who is greater, the one who reclines at the table or the one who serves? Is it not the one who reclines at the table? But I'm among you as the one who serves. You are those who have stood by me in my trials. And just as my Father has granted me a kingdom, I grant you that you may eat and drink at my table in my kingdom. And you sit on my throne, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Simon, Simon, behold, Satan has demanded permission to shift you like wheat. But I have prayed for you, that your faith may not fail. And you, once you have turned again, strengthen your brothers. But he said unto him, Lord, with you I'm ready to go both to prison and to death. And Christ said, I say to you, Peter, the rooster will not crow today, until you have denied me 3 times, that you may know me. And he said unto them, when I send you out without money, belt, and bag, and sandals, you do not lack anything, do you? And they said, no, nothing. He said to them, but now, whoever has a money belt is to take it along, likewise a bag. Whoever has no sword is to sell his coat to buy one. For I tell you that this which is written must be fulfilled in me. And he was numbered with transgressors. For that which is referred to as me has been fulfilled. And they said to him, Lord, look, here's 2 swords. And he said unto them, it is enough. Verse 39. And he came out and proceeded as he was custom into the Mount of Olives. And the disciples were with him. And he arrived at the place, and he said to them, pray that you may not enter into temptation. And he withdrew from them about the stone's throw, and knelt down and began to pray, saying, Father, if it's your will, remove this cup from me. Yet, my will, not my will, but your will be done. Now an angel from heaven appeared to him, strengthening him, and began in his agony, was praying very fervently, and his sweat became like drops of blood falling upon the ground. When he rose up from prayer, he came to the disciples and found them sleeping from sorrow, and said to them, why are you sleeping? Get up, pray that ye may not enter into temptation. Verse 47. While he, Jesus, was still speaking, behold, a crowd come, and one called Judas, one of the 12, was preceding them. He approached Jesus and kissed him. And Jesus said unto him, Judas, are you betraying the Son of Man with a kiss? When those who were around him saw what was going to happen, they said, Lord, shall we strike with the sword? And one of them struck the slave of the high priest and cut his ear off. And Jesus said, stop! No more of this. And he touched the ear, and it was healed. Then Jesus said to the chief priest and the officers of the temple and the elders who were there, have you come out with swords and clubs as you would against a robber? While I was with you daily in the temple, you did not lay hands on me, but this hour and power of darkness are yours? Verse 54. Having arrested him, they led him away and brought him to the house of the high priest, and Peter followed along in the distance. After they had kindled a fire in the middle of the courtyard and sat down, Peter was sitting among them, and a servant girl, seeing him sit there in the firelight, looked at him and said, this man was with him too. And he denied, saying, woman, I do not know him. A little later, another saw him, saying, you are the one of them too. And Peter said, man, I am not. After an hour had passed, another man began to insist, saying, certainly this man also was with him, for he is Galilean too. And Peter said, man, I do not know what you're talking about. And immediately, while he was speaking, the rooster crowed. The Lord had turned and looked at Peter. And Peter remembered the words of the Lord, how he had told him, before the rooster crows today, you will deny me 3 times. And he went out and wept bitterly. Now, the men who were holding Jesus into custody were mocking him and beating him. They had blindfolded him, and they were asking him, saying, prophesy! Who is the one hitting you? and they were saying many other things against him blasphemously. Verse 66. When it was the day, the council of the elders of the people assembled, both the chief priests, the scribes, and they led him away to their council chamber, saying, "If you are the Christ, tell us." And Jesus said unto them, "If I tell you, you will not believe me. And if I question, you will not answer. But from now on, the Son of Man will be seated at the right hand of the power of God." And they all said, "Are you the Son of God then?" And he said unto them, "Yes, I am." And they all said, "What further need do we have of your testimony? For we have heard it ourselves out of your mouth." This has been the reading of Luke 22. Merry Christmas.
The preceding announcement has been paid for by the Trinitarians working for Christ.